speak.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise to second the motion paying tribute to our colleague, the Honourable Sarah Mateke Nyirabashiti, the woman representative for Kisoro District and Minister of State for Defence and Veteran Affairs. Her sudden demise is deeply saddening. On behalf of the opposition in Parliament and on my own behalf, I wish to extend deepest condolences to the bereaved family and the people of Kisoro District, whom she served as leader. It's unfortunate that she has died at her prime due to a non-communicable disease, as we have been told. Her prime being 50 years. Honorable Sarah was generally calm and reserved, not too outspoken, like the quintessential politician. When she previously served as Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, she exuded passion. Passion for her role as Minister for Youth and Children. Whenever we pressed her hard regarding issues of youth and children, including their welfare, government programs and promises to this peculiar part of the population, she always responded with a lot of composure. Even when you did not agree with Honorable Sarah Mateke, it was difficult to feud with her because of her calmness. She's the kind of person who would disarm you with her gentility. We've also learned that she was undertaking certain projects in our community. We pray and hope that those projects will live on after her as part of her legacy. Honourable Speaker, my colleague, the Honourable Minister, has mentioned, of late the vice of corruption has continued to eat up our country, being perpetrated by leaders at different levels and civil servants. I did not hear of the Honourable Sarah Mateke's name embroiled in any corruption scandal during her service in government. And if there was one, then I probably missed it. As we send her off, may we all as leaders reflect on the imperativeness of not getting involved in corruption, but also using our positions and platforms to fight corruption, which has become an impediment to Uganda's progress. Honourable Speaker, when the Honourable Sarah was transferred to the Ministry of Defence and Veteran Affairs as Minister of State, I saw an interview of her on TV a couple of days into office, expressing her desire to serve the Ministry of Defence, the men and women in uniform, and the country at large with commitment in this new role that she was taking on. Unfortunately, again, as Honourable Both has mentioned, the Honourable Sarah has passed on just a short while after getting into this office, so she probably has not been able to achieve all that she set out to achieve. As we mourn the passing on of the Minister laying before us here, let us commit to improving the welfare of the men and women in uniform. We must resolve, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the question of salary enhancement for the UPDF, which falls under the ministry she was serving, and by extension, police and prisons. The living conditions of our men and women in uniform continue to be appalling. We must address this long overdue concern. Honourable Speaker, the commitment which Honourable Sarah exuded as she took over office would certainly involve ensuring discipline among our men and women in uniform, now that the Minister in charge told us about order therein. I would like to use this opportunity to re-echo the need to call to order the few elements among our armed forces who paint a bad image of the rest by brutalizing citizens at every opportunity. We continue to see stories of human rights violations by our uniformed personnel, something that should be in the past. On Saturday, 14th August 2021, retired General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, in a televised address, warned security operatives against human rights violations and especially torture of suspects. That was an admission of this unacceptable behavior among some within the forces. Unfortunately, this warning was not followed up by stern action against perpetrators of the same. Right Honourable Speaker, this criminal behavior continues to happen to citizens and especially supporters of the opposition and leaders too. Last week, my party leader, the Honourable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, was hit with a projectile by police and the military, causing an injury to his leg, only for police to say that he slid and fell as he entered his car. Stories upon stories of brutality have been told by suspects who get abducted using drones by plainclothes operatives, only for them to be produced in court with torture marks. In fact, some have been freed by courts because of that torture that was occasioned on them. As we mourn the passing of the Honourable Sarah Mateke, may we commit to not allowing illegalities within our forces, because all of us are potential victims, regardless of our political shades, as we have seen in the recent past. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. Finally, I would like to re-echo our call for military courts to stop being used to persecute citizens with different political beliefs, as we have seen for young people like Olivia Lutaya and others who have spent over 3 years in jail, with the court-martial denying them bail, and yet no evidence has been produced in court for their trials to progress, coming to 4 years for some of them. Right Honourable Speaker, this is not right. And it should be condemned by all right-thinking Ugandans, regardless of our political beliefs. In fact, some of these people are constantly being coerced to plead guilty with a promise to be freed since there is no evidence against them to date. And due to desperation and years of uncertainty behind bars, it is easy for someone in such a precarious situation to give in. Also, there are families which 4 years later are still looking for their loved ones who were abducted to no avail. I would like to remind the Right Honourable Prime Minister, who told the nation that John Bosco Chibalama was arrested and is in the hands of the state. Madam Prime Minister, his family is still waiting on you to have him produced in court or freed to return to his loved ones. I say all of this for God and my country.